Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Center for Conscious Living. You have Renee and Spencer here bringing you our November live stream. I want to start off by thanking everybody for rolling with us and our power outage issues last week. If you were online and anticipating us, sorry for the late switch, but we're glad to be back online and have all our facilities and utilities restored. So thank you for joining us. Our November topic is embracing thankfulness with sacred intention for evolving life, and there's some points in the description there that gives you a brief glimpse of what we're going to be talking about today. If you are new to us, we'll start off by having Renee give us an overview of this topic, and we invite you to listen along to that. And then the second half, we will open it up for what we call conscious conversation, which will be Renee and I discussing, and we invite you to join us via the comment sections on either Facebook or YouTube where we're streaming. You can submit a comment, question, even just a good morning. We'll give you a shout out and some love on the air here, and or answer your questions. If you do have something that's private and sensitive and you don't want to send it out in public, we totally understand that. You can send us a private chat on either of those platforms, or if you go to our website at scfcl.com, it's just our initials, there you'll find a way to reach out and contact us via email. Everything that you do say, we hold with sacred honor and keep confidential, so we invite you to do that. And I do want to say a special thank you, and for the October stream, I think we had a lot of good response on that conversation. So we thank you all for participating and joining us for that. Also, you can do so if you're watching this as a replay. We invite you to continue to comment, and we will go back and we'll answer your questions or comments. So we thank you all for that engagement. It really helps drive our connection and our growth. So thank you all for that. And the only other announcement I have is we do this monthly, so you can find us next month. We're planning a live stream for December 17th if you want to mark your calendars. So there will be emails or posts on our platforms. So December 17th, mark your calendars. That's also kind of a good segue too. If you want to get those emails, you can do so on our website. Again, scfcl.org, and you can get on our email list. Renee sends out beautiful emails with tips and tricks and all sorts of goodies for you. So highly encourage that. I think that's everything. I feel like I'm missing something, but if it comes back to me, I'll share it later.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me
Mhm.
go ahead and there, 1 second here. Okay, good. So, hello, everyone, and thank you for that great introduction, Spencer. We do love for you to be on the email list so we can get announcements. And also, when something happens, like Spencer said, the last minute power outage was just unexpected and nothing could be done about that. The best, if you are trying to join and having an issue and want to check a date, the best place to do it is the website, which he gave us. We have two ways to get to it, scfcl.org or .com. And so either one will get you there. So we're glad you're here if you're with us live. And if you're on the replay, we're glad you're with us that way too later. So let's go ahead and kind of take a breath and get grounded before we get into the topic. We're going to, as Spencer said, we're going to have a message with a few points. I'll go over that in just a second. And then we'll have an energy immersion before the conversation that Spencer will facilitate with all of us. So let's just get grounded, open your heart, still your mind. Deep breath, exhale with sound. Oh, get grounded, be present, and just for this moment, this time, just be present. Let everything else rest for a moment, and you can always pick it back up as soon as we complete and do so with more clarity. and love and wisdom and peace. All right, so as Spencer said, our topic today is embracing thankfulness with sacred intention. And forgive me, I have a tickly nose, so you'll notice I keep either about to sneeze or something. I wish I would we're going to just let it go. I'm going to just let it go. So we have 3 points we're going to cover. One is clarifying intention during difficulty and discouragement. The second one, committing to sacred well-being for yourself and all life. And then the third, contributing your energy as an evolving presence and light. So the reason I was guided to talk about this is a month in the United States, at least, where traditionally family gathers and friends gather and celebrate what we feel thankful for. And so even if you don't have that as a practice where you live, it's still a good time. It's a very traditional time for many, many different spiritual practices this time of year, and it has been for thousands of years. There's just many practices that come together at this time of year between November, December, and into January, where it's a time to remember and deepen your commitment or renew your commitment to whatever spiritual practice you choose. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to begin that experience over the next few months by considering the idea of thankfulness with a little different intention. The intention of doing so in a sacred way that evolves life. So the reason I say that is we have at this time in the world, we have a lot of things happening that can cause a person to feel challenged to perhaps be thankful. Or I know I've heard from so many people, as Spencer said, we got a lot of responses from last month's topic, and actually the one before also, as there's been, war breaking out in the last few months. Again, more, that's been going on for quite some time in other countries too. And it raises such a concern, how do you feel thankful? What is there to celebrate when this is still happening on planet Earth? That at this time of year, we begin to particularly think about the intention of peace in the world. And why is that such a struggle for human beings? Well, we've talked about that in the last few months. We'll continue to. I'm going to talk about it again in December as a transition between a consciousness of suffering into a consciousness of joy. This is a time in the collective consciousness of humanity. This is most definitely a time of powerful transition out of suffering, out of the belief that consciousness is more than belief. Consciousness is perhaps you don't even know what you believe, but you have consciousness or you wouldn't be living. And that consciousness is either something you cultivate intentionally, or it is something you just absorb from those around you. So I ask you first to get very clear. Are you intentionally cultivating a high vibrational consciousness, an evolved consciousness, a consciousness that evolves life for yourself and others, as opposed to a consciousness that sustains old, archaic power struggle in humanity? Because that's what's going on with all the different challenges that human beings have with one another. It's some form of power struggle. It's a fear consciousness, a suffering consciousness, a consciousness that you have to struggle and sacrifice in. And life has to be hard, but it's not meant to be hard. It's a choice. And we can hold that light even when others do not. So that's what we went quite a bit into that last month in October. We actually addressed that at both months, September and October, but particularly in October. Are you holding the light? Those of you who are with us, I hope you are holding steady with that, because that is how we support this transition to be less chaotic and less painful and fearful for people. Less suffering consciousness on the planet begins with your consciousness, each one of us individually. So we don't want to not feel thankful because there is something happening that is very clearly not something we agree with, something that might even feel cruel, because there are things happening that seem very cruel in the world. Is there ever a time when that's not the case in humanity? There's also great beauty and grace and goodness happening between human beings and with human beings for all life, all creatures, all sentient beings, all living beings in the earth. There are many wonderful things that happen as well. We have to remember that we tend to hear in social media and news media, there's a tendency to inform about the things that are negative and painful and frightening and unjust, unfair, more so than all the things that are wonderful. And we see that, and it does get reported in times of crisis how human beings will come together. Even in the animal kingdom, of course, animals help each other and help humans, and we help them too. And so there is great beauty, and there is a lot to be thankful for. If we don't recognize that and hold steady to it, we don't expand it. So we want to approach thankfulness, even if it feels like you're going through a personal challenge that causes discouragement, or it truly is difficult for you. I truly do understand that. And I honor that might be your experience right now, or that of a loved one, or something you are not personally experiencing, but you most definitely are concerned about happenings like that in the world. I truly understand that, perhaps even in a local community. I'm not asking you to deny that that's happening, not at all. But the best way to help it is to have the conscious awareness of it, and yet don't join that frequency and add to it. Bring a higher frequency. Hold steady with the light that is you, the light of your being as a blended divine human being. Bring your light into the dense, dark, fearful, confusing, overwhelming event or circumstance that you might be experiencing, loved ones might be experiencing, or that you're seeing happening in the world. Now just take a breath with that for a moment, and please open your heart to that. Okay, so that's the clarifying of intention that is absolutely crucial when you're going through anything difficult. Whether it's something that will pass, but in the moment while it's happening, it's challenging. I had something recently like that. Spencer and I both had the power outage situation last week, and we had to find a way to manage it, and we did. And we clarified our intention. That's how we began. The second point I want to talk about is committing to sacred well-being for yourself and others. Once you've clarified your intention, that becomes your focus, which also directs your energy flow. If you do not first intend well-being, sacred, complete, and total, I love this expression from the Abraham teachings, utter well-being. That is, if you don't set that as a clarity, that is an innate state of being that we all have not only a right to, it is our natural state. And the absence of that is because of human confusion. It is not a divine will. The absence of complete and utter well-being for all life is the natural state of beloved source energy flowing through all life. And the absence of that is a mistake of intention or fear-based belief systems of humanity. That's all. Now, when I say it's all, I don't mean that it doesn't create enormous difficulty and pain and suffering. Yes, it does. But it is not the truth of your natural state of being on planet Earth, any of us. So we want to set as our intention to return to that state within yourself and support that for others. If you don't return to it within yourself, how can you possibly support it in others? Because you're not in that consciousness. You're not in that frequency yourself. You don't have it to offer to others. Once you have it, now you have it to offer to others. At the very least, you are now able to hold that sacred space. That consciousness allows you to hold that in your field. And anyone and everyone who's near you and those who you send your energy to by thought, you might think of it as prayer, directing your energy, holding sacred space, they will be blessed at the level of consciousness you offer. Don't you want that to be as high as possible? That's how we support evolving consciousness on the planet. Without evolving consciousness, it's just a cycle that keeps repeating. Humanity, the collective consciousness, will not improve its ultimate result of endeavors to do better, to be better, to have peace, to be more honorable toward all life, to support one another without judgment, that all people and all life will have basic necessities and have it with honor and dignity and grace. That's the sort of ideal most of us hold. Do you have that as your consciousness? Or do you have as your consciousness, that's a noble idea, but I don't believe it's really possible? Well, then guess what? That's the energy you bring to your intention to uplift and support your others, and it limits you as well. The third point, contributing your energy as an evolving presence in light. So that's how you contribute your energy. So let's talk about that. Let's expand that, and we're going to actually practice it in the energy immersion here in just a moment. Take another breath, please. For you to contribute your energy in a direction that evolves life, for you to be a light in the world, a bringer of light, you must experience the light that is your divine self, the divinity expressing through you, as you, with you. That expression of the divine that you uniquely came here in this lifetime to be and to share with the world for the good of all and for your own personal joy of being that wonderful flow of pure source energy. For that to be happening within you, for you to cultivate that, requires that you begin to notice conscious awareness and then shift as needed, constantly attuning. Are you making conscious choice? Are you directing your energy in a highly evolved way that aligns with your values, your intentions, or sacred honor for all life, for example? Are you consciously doing that moment to moment in every aspect of your life? Not separately, like right now doing it, but then the moment you engage with family, you don't do it. Or the moment you engage with work or business, you stop doing it. Or when you get triggered in traffic, or something happening with a neighbor, or something going on in the world, something political, something in government, something in a religious experience that you disagree with. Do you stay true to consciously directing your energy? Or at that moment, do you no longer have mastery of your focus and flow of energy? And now you have let yourself be lost in the turmoil, the chaos that triggered you. The very thing that you want to help support in humanity to be better, are you matching it with your energy, or are you holding higher and bringing that energy to the situation? Even if silently, and when in your time of just holding sacred space, is that something you do? Do you take time every day to hold energy and hold the light and be that and bring it, if only 5 minutes a day? It's powerful, powerful. I encourage you to do that. When it's difficult to do that, we're going to do something today that will help you move into a space where you can begin to do that in a very simple way, something that'll be simple and very easy for you to do, truly. And that is the practice of thankfulness, where you just allow yourself to begin feeling thankful. And as you begin feeling thankful, it helps you, it's like you let the light begin to rise and emanate. And you have to you have to get yourself into a higher frequency. One of our members sent me something. She saw a map of consciousness somewhere and took a picture and sent it to me. The map of consciousness is a great way to understand the levels of frequency that happens at various levels of consciousness. Map of consciousness is something created by Dr. David Hawkins and was first introduced through his book Power versus Force. You can Google it. It's easy to find. It helps you understand that there are actual frequencies. And when you get to the level of 200, courage, which if you think about courage is of the heart, from that level up, you now are helping rise consciousness. From that level below, if you are holding a frequency below that, those around you are kind of, they're affecting your consciousness. You're not a leader, a bringer of light when you allow your consciousness to be lower. So it's important that you first learn to raise your own energy. And that's how energy is how your consciousness expresses in the world. Because that's how you'll know what where your level of consciousness is, by your emotional state, which is an indicator of your energy frequency. And the energy frequency is determined by your consciousness. You cannot emanate an energy higher than your consciousness. So you want to work at the level of consciousness and let it emanate out. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a practice that you can do every day before you even get out of bed. It will just take a few minutes, and I encourage you to do it. And it's a way of experiencing appreciation for life. No matter how difficult something might be that you're dealing with personally, or how discouraged you might feel about something going on with loved ones or out in the world. I know that can make it hard to get your frequency higher. And so this practice is designed to help you with that. All right. Spencer, thank you for the music you have for us. And I ask everyone to take a very deep breath and exhale with sound, because that activates the vagus nerve and gets the energy all flowing through your body. Deep breath. Oh. Deep breath. One more time. Oh. And now a very slow, gentle breath. Hold it for a moment. And then a very slow, thorough exhale. All through your body. Feel your energy. Feel the energy that is the truth of your being. You are a being of light, a divine expression, uniquely as you, pure source, beloved source, Spirit, God, the light of the One, the power that creates worlds, the source that is in motion as the universe in creation. You are that energy, expressing uniquely as you. And so now, the first step in learning to raise your consciousness, raising your personal frequency, so that you can be a light in the world, a light that helps evolve consciousness simply by your presence, is to do this. I want you to begin in the morning before you even get out of bed, perhaps before you open your eyes. So I want you to take yourself to that space. You're in bed, you've just awakened, maybe just barely, still a little bit sleepy, but you're coming back into your human life. You're bringing your presence fully back into your body to engage another day. You could even be doing it during the middle of the night if you awake. If you awaken during the night, you can do this at any time before you even get out of bed in the morning. Begin with appreciating something very simple, very sweet, very serene, something as simple as the comfort of the bed, or the sheets, or the pillow, or the blanket, a loved one next to you, something, a memory, a pet, a child, just something very simple, a tiny little nuance of appreciation. Feel that now. Choose something. Imagine you are just waking up. Choose something very simple and so easy to appreciate. And just let yourself appreciate it. It might be that you feel the comfort of it, or the sweetness of the loved one, the pet, the child, something you enjoyed the day before, a memory from any time, just something simple and easy to appreciate. Yes, and just let your heart open fully. And just let your energy relax your body and let your energy just be. It's not an effort. You don't emanate your energy by effort. It emanates when you open your field, when you allow your energy, the light of your being. You just allow it and it will emanate effortlessly. And now, I want you to think about, as you go through the day, and as you're right now, we'll practice it in this moment. As you go through the day, just remember to notice, are you feeling appreciation for life? Take the time all through the day, when you get up in the morning and you have a beverage, whatever that is, a glass of water, a hot beverage, tea, coffee, cocoa, anything, juice, a cold beverage perhaps, whatever it is, and you take that first sip in the morning of water, or a warm beverage, or a cool beverage, appreciate it. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Something simple. The first bite of food during the day. If you take time in nature, maybe you have a pet and you go out with walk your dog, or you have children and you take time to connect with them, family around you, or you just take time in nature for yourself. Notice the beauty and majesty of nature, of life, whether it's people around you, pets, nature, trees, birds, the sun, clouds, sky, rain, wind. Notice the beauty and majesty of nature. Appreciate it. And then as you go through the rest of your day, you're with people perhaps and working on a project. Maybe it's at work, maybe it's a personal project. Maybe it's you're just connecting with people in your community, or connecting with family, friends. Stop and appreciate them. Something about each person. Appreciate something about them. There's someone who has a beautiful laugh and they laugh with ease and grace and they bring joy. Someone is gentle and kind. Appreciate that. Someone has grounded, calm energy and it feels good to be in their presence. Appreciate that. Someone is very witty, sense of humor. Someone is very wise. Whatever it is, but take the time to practice appreciation. It's actually a more evolved way of practicing thankfulness. Appreciation is even higher frequency. It's a beautiful, powerful energy. And when you do that without even making any effort, your energy field opens and you are more radiant, and those around you will feel the gift of your presence and light, which is the frequency of your consciousness expressing, emanating, and empowering. It empowers others because it will help them rise up if they choose to. It will not force them to, of course. It just holds a beautiful sacred space that allows it to be easier for them. Take another breath, please. Thank you for doing this with us today. And I encourage you to do this every day and learn to make it a practice all day long. Just check in and appreciate, notice. If you've gone all day without appreciation, don't be upset with yourself. Just recommit and begin again. That's all. Just recommit, begin again. Thank you, dear one. When you're ready, come back and be present with us. And Spencer will take over and facilitate what's coming up as our conscious conversation. As we're coming back, I just want to thank you again for your presence, and we welcome your participation. We love hearing from you, even if you just want to say hello. We love that. And it's good for you because it allows you to express your energy so that you join the beautiful infinity flow of energy between us and you, whether you're live or whether you're joining us later. Are you ready, Spencer?
I am. I just had to shake that out a little bit.
Good. I'm glad it went deep. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Very, yes, very, very nice. And it's been a minute since I've had that feeling that I've kind of fallen off that. But before I launch right into that, if you're this is our conscious conversation segment where we will open up chats and I'll go through the comments and kind of see if anybody has any questions. And Renee and I will just kind of discuss our topic a little more in depth. So we invite you to join us. Leave any questions, comments, quotes, just hellos. We love all of it. We love seeing it. Um, and we welcome all of that here. So please go ahead and feel free to do so. We do ask that if you are to be conscious while you are coming to us with any questions you might have. If you have a specific situation, we ask that you respect everybody involved, and we're here to focus on you and what is going on in your world, not what's going on around your world, but what's in this world in here. So, um,
Well said.
yeah,
Yes.
so that's what we're here to focus on and keeping you there. So, um, with that being said, we can have the start the conversation.
Wonderful, Spencer.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to start by asking anyone present live and later on the replay as well, because I will get a notification. And if it's directed to Spencer, I share it with him. If it's directed to me, I will answer you directly. I always respond. So even if you want to respond later, please do. Um, how did it feel to go into such a beautiful state of appreciation? I'd love to know how that felt for anyone who would like to share that. We'd love to hear your feedback. And then, Spencer, I'm just going to hand it off to you. What would you like to talk about, Spencer?
Yeah, I um let's see. I had it all for just a fleeting moment and then it left. It's been a little bit since I've had that time to spend on myself and kind of meditate and reflect, especially on this topic. And I was reflecting particularly on our point about the point that you had about clarifying your intention during difficulty and discouragement, and in particularly the discouragement. Um, Not so much because of like big world things, but just little world things, little day to day life. I think life is so rampant with what has been classified and kind of come to light as imposter syndrome, where you just, and I think in our spiritual terms that kind of boils down to self-worth and self-love, and that meditation and energy activation of um doing something and being thankful. I think I was kind of like, yeah, how do we get over that discouragement? And then just really was clicking like, oh wait, it's more about being thankful for those things, and it builds that momentum. um
Yes.
So I guess one thing I would like to share is anybody who maybe is feeling similarly. One thing that I've started to do, I'm in Wisconsin, and we're starting to get to those colder months, and it's been a very, very mild fall, and very nice, warm fall. I have just kind of in the past couple days, um, kind of having this natural realization of get up and enjoy the sun that's coming through my windows in the morning, and um, starting to read just something like read books that speak to me spiritually. And
Mm.
I'm saying that in terms of, you could pick a spiritual book, or um you can pick like very, very in-depth spiritual book if you want to, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about something that you just read and it just brings you that kind of feeling of warmth. And maybe you've read it 1,000 times. It might be the Bible, it might be the Quran or Torah, or whatever spiritual book you choose. But just reading that and getting some wisdom, getting um some kind of clarity, and just that general warmth has been something that I've been enjoying lately. And then it helps you kind of just be thankful that you can have that wisdom, you can have that clarity. And then um appreciating those little things, it helps you everywhere you go. You can be out in the middle, in a car with a flat tire in the middle of a rainstorm, and be, oh, I hear some birds singing. And it kind of just changes. We had a really cold day the other day, and um I was walking to my mailbox, and I have a big tree next to my mailbox, and I was hearing a woodpecker, and I was listening for it, listening. I'm like, wow, it's really close. And like 10 feet away from me in the tree was this little downy woodpecker on my tree looking for food. And I just sat there and like watched it, and it was looking at me, and it was still doing its job. And I don't know. I'm sure if neighbors were driving by, I was not in any other existence. I was in that moment. I'm sure
Yeah.
neighbors could have driven by and thought maybe I was like a glitch in the matrix or something. But it's like, no,
Frozen in
I
time.
was just, yeah, I was just watching the little woodpecker do what he does, and just finding those little moments of beauty, and then I was able to go back inside and continue my busy work day. So that's kind of my advice, my wisdom, my feelings on that. If you're feeling kind of like just discouraged, or things aren't going the way you anticipated or wanted, or were trying to manifest, or however, um just go back to that. Go back to something that brings you joy, and just stack those little things on top of each other, and it really helps.
It really does create the momentum. And thank you for sharing. That's a beautiful experience. And the reason, as those of you who just went through the energy immersion, the reason I said start with something very simple, easy to feel appreciation for, because if you try to start with something challenging to feel appreciation for, it doesn't create the momentum. But if you start with something simple, the momentum takes over. Like Spencer was saying, it just takes over. Yes, so that's beautiful. I love that. Woodpeckers are amazing, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Do you want to expand on anything about you were talking about imposter syndrome? Do you want to expand on that at all? Or?
um it's been, yeah, like for me personally, I feel like I've been kind of handling it okay. I just know it's very, it just comes up pretty frequently, and you just have to kind of take a pause, and rather than feed that thought, kind of switch the gears, change it, and just recognize it as being an experience, but not the one that you're going to choose to follow. Um,
Yeah, not the one you're going to give the power of your
right,
presence.
right.
Right. Observe it, not become part of it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Not put, if you're feeling, a lot of times it's with work, and um yeah, like you might be feeling, but you might be feeling a certain way, like that you're not valued or valid or anything in your position, but then you realize, no, there's a reason that you're there. Then you kind of just say, no, there is a reason that I'm here. I've been here. People want me here. And you just kind of put that, whatever part of your brain is causing that, whatever part of your ego is causing that, you just kind of like put it off to the side. Maybe if you're in a busy moment and don't have time to process it, or you kind of try to realize that maybe you have the time and you try to work through it. But um yeah, it's just it's ultimately just you come to realize that it's just some sort of fear reaction in your brain that doesn't want you, or that you want to do to feel comforted. Like you're like, oh, I'm afraid that I might not be good enough at my job, so I'm just going to withdraw and just kind of cocoon up. But when it's like, no, you got to push forward, push forward, push forward, and recognize it, but find the right path.
Yeah, I like that. I know when I have felt those things, and when I'm working with somebody who's, coming out of an experience like that, um, it's I I think it's important to not you push forward, yes, but not forceful. It's not
Correct.
a
Yes. Yeah.
it's a it's a commitment to honor yourself and not believe the quote, the lie that you're not good enough in whatever way.
Mm-hmm.
Because not that we all can improve about things, but in terms of innately we are good enough. We are enough. We are always enough. We are worthy beings. We are capable of aligning with infinite intelligence and wisdom to accomplish things unbelievable at times that might seem unbelievable, but they're, yeah. And so I like that don't give into it. Like you said, don't give into it, and understand it's within yourself. I think that's great wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And I know that's kind of um I guess that's kind of ethereal and out there a little bit. So I guess in a more concrete way, like a recent moment where I was kind of having that was I've been rediscovering my passion for acting and theater, and something that I haven't done. That's something I haven't done since high school. So um without aging myself too much, that was many years ago. And I took like I was like, I've had people tell me, "You, why don't you do that anymore? Why don't you should?" And people who are involved in community theater, but I had built up this fear that it's like, "Oh no, you were just good. You were just in high school. You just lucked out because you're a man, and they like men don't tend in our society not to go for arts." Which isn't true. Like there's tons of I've learned there are but like um there's still a space for you. There's still a space for you there if you choose it. So I start out with a class, and then I met some cool people, and one of them was like, "Hey, there's an audition that's like literally the day after our class ended for a show. I'm doing it, if you want to consider it." And I ended up doing it on a whim. So I go to the audition, and right before, I was seeing all these people walk in for the audition, and I was starting to get that way. So I kind
oh,
of just had to like, I just sat in my car for a little bit, and I just sat, and I have never um I don't say I've never auditioned for a show, but like being in high school, the only things I've auditioned for, it was kind of like they were so desperate for men at my school, young men, boys at my school to do this, that it was like, I got a good shot. I'm pretty sure that I landed a lead role in my audition for it was singing "My Country 'Tis of Thee," which is like that's not very high bar. It's not, I'm not going in there and singing Pavarotti or like not singing an aria from an opera. So um just for that level there. But I was able to go in, and I still had the nerves. I still had like the jitters.
mhm.
And I was just able to sit there and read through, and just do what I enjoyed, focus on what I enjoyed, right? My love of looking at some
Mhm.
words and bringing a character to life.
Understood.
So even in the midst of, you're sitting in this lobby with all these other people who are doing the same thing, I was just able to sit and kind of observe and look around and think, wow, I was able to look at that and say, I don't even care if I don't get this part. Like I don't I'm here to have fun and continue on this growth path. And I see all these other people that are going to make a great show, and I should come back if I don't get a part. I want to come back and see if it's like, "Hey, I auditioned with you. Hey, I saw you at, at the
Yeah.
auditions. You guys did so great." Like it just really brings the joy, rather than this continuing this discouragement path.
Oh, that's so cool that you could get to the joy of the present experience without an agenda of, I can only let myself have joy if I get the result I
Right.
want.
Yep.
It's so wonderful. I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah, so it was good. And I went in, and then the audition ended up not it wasn't bad. It was super fun. It wasn't for a part that I would want, and I feel like I probably won't get the role. But again, I was like, yeah, this is fun. This is something that I just did. I got to meet some cool people, and kind of, literally play around with them on the stage, and just mix it up. And okay, they would just say, "Okay, Spencer, we want you and," I forgot their names already, but Stephanie, and you and Jacob, and you and this like, and just kind of mix it up. And it was kind of like I was doing, if you remember the old show "Whose Line Is It Anyway?" It's kind of like that, where
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
like, you just kind of mixing it up, and now you read through the lines. And then the more you did it, the more you thought, oh, I could do this and be a little more grandiose, or I could do this and be portray a little more fear, or so it was, yeah. So I just loved the experience. I fully expect that I'm not going to get it, and I had so I guess that's my going back to it. You know, you can feel that kind of onset of that anxiety, and then realize that's just there because it's like a coping mechanism, because you are legitimately afraid, you maybe are uncomfortable, and you can choose to go numb to the world or choose to feel what's around you, see what's around you, and experience it.
Yes, and that's a wonderful in the moment way of of understanding. You clarified your intention. My intention here is to experience joy, to enjoy this experience. If I get the part, great. If I don't, but if I don't enjoy this experience, what's the point? That's my point, and so you clarified, and that helped you let go of the fear, the ego fear stuff happening, and be present and bring your light. So
And
I'm translating it in,
yeah,
yeah, awesome. I just love it. Yeah.
yep. So yeah, it was a great experience. And I will say, kind of going back to, if I can remember my own words here from 30 seconds ago, um there's nothing wrong if you choose to go in there and be fearful about it either, and just kind of cocoon up. Like, it's all that too is an experience. There's nothing wrong. I would recommend, I've had greater experience, or more enjoyable experiences and memories, and by choosing to find the joy and be in that moment. But you can't always do that. I'm not perfect. I also have times where I do go in and kind of just, I keep shrugging my shoulders like this, because it's like you do just kind of shrink down, shrink away
Mhm.
from the moment, and that's fine. You need that space too, and sometimes it's just the timing's not right, or if it doesn't, um just want to say that there's no shame in either option.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes something we're dealing with really is overwhelming, and the difficulty is extreme.
Mm-hmm.
We need to love ourselves and honor ourselves and support ourselves through it, even if we fall short, even way short of what we had hoped we would do and who we hoped we would be in that situation. Just like you said, and then as I said in the meditation time, love yourself and just take a breath and begin again.
Mm-hmm.
Recommit and go again. Recommit and go again. And, we don't, it's not yeah, I love it. We have to, in spiritual world, stop putting ourselves in this space of we have to always do it high bar. We want to evolve our consciousness, and getting there is what's important, not holding a standard all the time, especially some sort of false standard. So I'm glad, bringing that back to the whole, that imposter. We don't want to pretend to be spiritual. That's a horrible feeling. We want to be the truth of us, that, for the joy of that, not to present an image, not to present I wish I could get the right words. I know what you were saying. It's like, it's not about doing it as a standard. It's about the experiencing of the joy and the wonderful spacious expression that is who we really are. That's the prize. And that's not we don't get there by pretending it. We get there by being vulnerable and sometimes getting it very, very not how we want it to be until we learn how to do it. Yeah. Just like the acting.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. The audition. How wonderful. Well, you'll have to let us know
Yeah, yeah.
whether
Absolutely.
you end up actually participating or maybe doing something on the side or just going back and watching it.
Exactly. Yep.
Wonderful. Do we have any comments that we want to address or questions or?
There's a couple of shout outs. We don't have any questions, but we have Keith sending us some emoji love.
Thank
And
you, Keith. Love back to you.
yep, we also have a message, some greetings, all the way from Tanzania, saying
Okay.
saying that
Awesome.
they are truly thankful for us. So thank you for that. We are thankful for you watching from such a unique place. And
Yeah.
while I was listening, I don't know why, I just Google image search Tanzania because it's not a country I know a lot about. And wow, that looks gorgeous. Wow, it looks
Does.
like
I've
such a
seen a
gorgeous
few
place.
pictures. It does look gorgeous, doesn't it?
I
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to think my sister who lives in Utah has mountains and horses in her backyard and stuff look cool, but then you see elephants in mountains. Whoo. that's that's a
That is
pretty powerful nature right there.
awesome. I'm so glad you're with us today. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you. So, okay. And we're thankful for all of you that are here and we appreciate you. Do you want to, shall we wrap up or do you
Yeah, I'm
anything else?
good.
Wrap up?
I'm good with that.
Okay, so thank you, those of you who made comments, even a shout out, we love it. The love icons, we love it. The likes, the loves, thank you. When you watch the replay, if you want to do that, we always appreciate it. And we appreciate your presence. We have regular contributors that help us because we do have business operating expenses. We thank you. We appreciate you so much. Even little occasional donations, it does help. It really does help because Spencer and I, we do this, but we do have to cover some basic expenses to keep the nonprofit business going and to bring this to you. And we have some things we're working on. And as we have more funds, we can fund those ideas better sooner. So thank you all. And any way that you feel like sharing your love with us, your energy presence, your energy finances, your energy ideas, your energy comments, we receive it and we thank you for it. Okay, so as Spencer said, our next live stream will be December 17th. And we're really going to talk about the Christmas coming up and all the various holidays, sacred holidays in January, beginning of the new year. We're going to talk a lot about the power of joy consciousness. It's not a fluffy thing. It's not at all. If you look at that map of consciousness, you'll see joy is very important. It's actually the consciousness that is needed to experience miracles, whether it's a healing of your body or financial need or consciousness evolving on the planet in a miraculous way. It's the energy frequency of miracles. So we're going to really talk about that. The joy of the holiday season and whatever holiday you celebrate. We're going to be bringing that next month. So I believe that's all. Have I forgotten anything, Spencer? Okay, I didn't notice. Okay, cool, good. That works well. Tag team. Okay, thank you all again for joining us live, and those of you who watch later on the replay, we're glad to have you. Please share this with anyone who you believe would enjoy the wisdom we shared, the energy immersion, or the the conversation that I love. Spencer always brings some great ways of bringing it into implementation in life. So share it with anyone who you believe would be blessed to receive it. And if you want to stay informed with us, please be on our email list if you're not already, scfcl.org, and you can be on our email list. And that way, what I do is after we have one of these messages each month, then every week that follows, I send you an email with some questions to reflect on it. So you carry the wisdom through for a full month and bring it into your life, and not just something to think about once, but you actually evolve, and it's a part of spiritual mastery, which is what we're here for, conscious living. Okay, that's it for me then. I guess we'll say goodbye, and we will see you on December 17th. Have a blessed holiday, those of you who are about to celebrate, and we'll be back in touch soon. Bye.